I think this game, was lost really through just a lack of concentration. You can't give that amount of space in your own penalty box to the opposition because, as like I say, there's quality in the opposition who are going to find that space and that spare man, and they will punish you.
Are you seeing enough improvement?
I am. I think there's definitely an improvement in the shape and the structure of the team. Man United don't look like an open team. I was sitting here last season at times with my hands in my head at moments, various moments in games where we were being sliced open at will, and teams who would just come into Old Trafford, even away games, you're just thinking they've had 22 shots. They've had 25 shots. That isn't the case in the first two games. There's more control, there's a bit of stability, still room for improvement, obviously.
Especially nowadays when there's 5 subs been made, you have to deal with it yourself as players on the pitch, because you know your job at the start of the game might have been on the post, then it might have been in the space, then you might have to mark, but then at 8 Man United players looking at Belgrade as he's about to whip the ball in, and there's 3 Brighton players, João Pedro being one behind. That is criminal. That cannot happen, and that's cost them today ultimately.
Fair.
Yeah, I think the second one obviously is much more glaring. I think the first one you could do better. I think it's a very good ball first and foremost that puts you in a problem as a defender. I think Maguire could deal with the first ball in, but again, this game's been won. 3 crosses in the box, 3 goals. And I always think about this now. If I'm a manager, all I'm telling my players to do is get in those areas and cross that ball, because I don't think we're seeing defenders defend those positions as well as we would have maybe in the past.
Same vulnerabilities still there from last season.
I don't think the same vulnerabilities. I think Man United, today on the whole, I think that their performance was a lot more positive than I'd seen maybe at many times last season. I think there was a cohesiveness with and without the ball. And I just think that, again, one moment could have changed this game. Xerxes' moment when it hits him on the line and gets disallowed, and rightly so. I mean, if that goes in, the game's very different. But this isn't an if, buts and maybes game, is it?
Well,
I actually thought Harry Maguire grew into the game and played very well. I think he was the best defender for Manchester United, or best centre-back definitely today, as the game grew on defensively. And I was a bit surprised when he got brought off, actually. And we were talking, I think, if he had been on the pitch, maybe he'd have been the one maybe leading and vocalising to people to get into positions on that second phase from the set piece. Who knows? But it's it's when centre halves are being brought off in the game and it's not injury related. Sometimes it does, this didn't happen in our era. It does baffle you a little bit. But at the end of the day, the manager's got to shuffle the pack. He's got a lot of players to make sure he keeps happy. De Ligt's in there. He looked comfortable when he came on, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't say that Harry Maguire had a bad game. I think he was very solid in most parts of that game.
I know we're all clever after the event, but I think Harry Maguire on the pitch when the second goal comes in, I think Manchester United are a tad more organised, and then they deal with it.
And you saw the players that come on, they have an impact immediately. But I thought João Pedro, today he was outstanding at times, gliding past players, a work ethic as well. And I mean, he had a good time at Watford. And Tom Cleverley, I remember speaking to him, he was a teammate of his, always spoke glowingly about him. And I was surprised only Brighton were the team that came in for him, because I think as a talent, I don't think there's really much questions of him. But doing it at this level consistently, now we're starting to show. Today, they outrun Man United in terms of distance, in high intensity numbers as well, were crazy off the charts. And before a ball's even played, their demands that are set as like the staple of this football club now, if you can't keep up with it, you won't play. And so you see the players, the hunger. Minter was a great example, but Billy Gilmore today, not renowned for running, run more than anyone else on the pitch. It's phenomenal, the demands that he's getting and what he's getting out of these players. And then obviously then it becomes about quality at the end of that. When you're overrunning teams and you're demanding like that, but then there's quality as well, that's a good recipe.